Francine is spinning off the Texas Gulf Coast. Who could be dealing with what? And who's going to be dealing with triple-digit temperatures by this weekend? Yes, false fall is ending. Let's talk about it in this Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, it's Tuesday, the 10th of September, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer. We do have a tropical storm sitting about 120 miles southeast of Brownsville this morning. Let's just go ahead and get into it now. Francine has not organized further overnight. It organized pretty quickly yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, and then for all intent and purposes became steady state and has remained so through the overnight hours. It looks like maximum sustained winds are near 65 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 992 millibars, and again, center of circulation about 120 to 125 miles south east of Brownsville. Now moving north-northwest at 5 miles an hour. A turn north to the northeast is anticipated this morning, and the hurricane will begin to slowly accelerate to the northeast, and become a hurricane. I guess technically it's not a hurricane yet, but it should become one later this morning. And it's going to be moving northeast. Good confidence in that, and good confidence that this is going to be a Louisiana landfall tomorrow afternoon, a bit after lunchtime it looks like. Now, questions being here, even though the center of circulation and direct landfall of Francine will be in Louisiana, what does that mean for the Texas Gulf Coast? Well, you notice the National Hurricane Center has tropical storm watches up from pretty much Brownsville all the way up through the Rio Grande Valley, the coastal bend, the coastal plains on the coast, lower, middle, upper Texas Gulf Coast, into parts of southeast Texas. We have a tropical storm warning for the Golden Triangle, including Beaumont, and a hurricane warning that begins right at, pretty much for all intended purposes, Sabine Pass, east into Louisiana, where we're going to have the strongest winds. Means it's going to be gusty on the coast today and tomorrow. We could have some wind gusts over 40 miles an hour this morning in the Rio Grande Valley. We could have wind gusts over 55 miles an hour Wednesday afternoon in the Golden Triangle. Though again, if this ends up shifting further east again, the risk of that will decrease. Let's take a look at the storm surge issues. Now, since the tropical storm / soon-to-be hurricane is still sitting southeast of the mouth of the Rio Grande, we've got onshore winds, onshore flow pushing water towards the Texas Gulf Coast. So we could see 1 to 3 feet of above average or above normal tide levels with this system today, tonight. As Francine passes north of your latitude on the Texas Gulf Coast, we're going to switch around from onshore flow to offshore flow, northwest winds, and that'll push water away from the coast, at times maybe low water situation. But until then, onshore flow means water being pushed towards the coast, minor coastal flooding possible. The threat for coastal flooding is a bit higher from High Island, east of the Bolivar Peninsula, through Sabine Pass. In the Golden Triangle, we could see 3 to 5 foot storm surge there. And again, that is until the system is essentially north of your latitude. Then your winds are going to shift back around to the northwest, pushing that water away. But take a look in Louisiana from Cameron to almost the mouth of the Mississippi River. We're looking at a 5 to 10 foot storm surge. Quite significant. That's going to push probably tens of miles inland because it's marshy, low terrain out there. So besides the threat of some minor coastal flooding, here is the most likely arrival time and probabilistic guidelines for tropical storm force winds over 40 miles an hour. You can see if we have to deal with it, it's going to be today into tonight on the Texas Gulf Coast. And again, most folks, it's just going to be a gusty day. I want to emphasize this is not Burl repeat. This is not a situation where we're expecting hurricane force winds in Texas. That should stay off the Gulf, or stay off our coast, and be an issue for Louisiana where landfall is. Now, we'll have to keep a small eye on the Golden Triangle. There's a chance we could deal with some wind gusts above 60 miles an hour depending on the landfall location, but if this makes landfall far enough east of the Texas-Louisiana border, we're just going to have gusty winds of the Golden Triangle tomorrow. In terms of forecast rain totals, now this is over the next 5 days, but includes Francine's rain totals for Texas because it's not going to rain in Texas besides Francine over the next 5 days. This is through 7 a.m. Sunday the 15th, and you can see rain totals because Francine's track has shifted even further east. Rain totals, frankly, not that impressive, with the exception to the Rio Grande Valley, where we could have heavy rain this morning, with rain totals in some locations exceeding 5 inches storm total. Otherwise, we're going to be lucky to get over an inch of rain on the Texas Gulf Coast from Corpus Christi to Galveston to Beaumont. And you can also see we are going to see some showers in East Texas, the Arklatex, the Piney Woods, etc. That's likely to be Wednesday afternoon through Thursday morning as Francine makes landfall and Louisiana moves north, and we get kind of some of the shower activity. Because Francine is going to be making landfall to our east, we're going to be getting the western side of the system, which is typically the clean side, the less intense side. Let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. For the next couple of days, you can see, we're going to have outer spiral bands moving onshore across parts of the coastal plain, southeast Texas later today, tonight into Wednesday morning. Some of those may have water spouts, by the way. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, but the best chance of rain for those locations tomorrow morning. Then notice as we get into tomorrow afternoon, the chance for some scattered showers across really the Arklatex, East Texas, Southeast Texas, maybe almost back towards the Brazos Valley, North Texas. Can't rule a shower out. And again, that would just be wraparound moisture from Francine. Locally heavy rainfall possible with brief downpours, gusty winds. But you can see this. If this is right, Francine's got to make landfall well east of the Texas-Louisiana border. And frankly, this would be a minor nuisance event for us, a glancing blow with minor impacts, while Louisiana gets clobbered. So with that being said, I hope that keeps your expectations in check for what we are expecting here in Texas, impact-wise, from Francine, which is, at this point, on the minor side of the impact spectrum. That's not to say we're not going to have issues. We're going to have to watch for some coastal flooding. We're going to have to watch for that storm surge, especially in the Golden Triangle tonight into Wednesday morning, and some gusty winds. All right, besides that, you can see Francine makes landfall tomorrow afternoon. It moves up into Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama. It's out of here by Thursday. We're not going to have sensible weather impacts across most of the state from this. You can see winds generally remaining light across the state out of the southeast and mostly sunny across Texas tomorrow, with the exception of the eastern quarter of the state dealing with some clouds and wraparound moisture. And as that occurs, guess what? Back to the wildfire discussion. Yes, we can talk about hurricanes and wildfires in the same video because we're Texas. We have 254 counties of SAS. Today, the potential will be for high fire danger across the Panhandle, parts of West Texas, Northwest Texas, and the Arklatex. And same story tomorrow, maybe a little less in the Arklatex, but high fire danger in the Panhandle. And then Thursday, moderate to high fire danger across the borderland, the Trans-Pecos, Guadalupe, Davis Mounds, Big Bend, Permian Basin, West Texas, and the Panhandle. And for what it's worth, that will likely increase as we get towards the weekend and temperatures go up, because I gave the cat away. Summer's back later this week. Today's high temperature is going to be cooler along the coast thanks to the rain chances, cloud cover highs, low to mid 80s. It's going to be humid. Welcome back to summer. Inland, we're looking at mid 80s to low 90s across most of the state, maybe a mid 90s in the Panhandle and the Edwards Plateau. Tomorrow, highs back up in the upper 90s, the Edwards Plateau, 97 on Laredo, 96 Del Rio. We're looking at 70s across the eastern quarter of the state with, again, scattered showers from Francine's landfall in Louisiana. Otherwise, 80s to middle 90s across the state, 95 tomorrow in El Paso. Here's Thursday. Still some residual cooler temperatures, Arklatex, East Texas, but otherwise we're back into the upper 80s, 90s across the state. And yes, 100 in Laredo on Thursday, 97 El Paso, 96 in Fort Stockton, 92 in Wichita Falls, still about 97 in San Antonio, so yeah, falls over there, and upper 80s in DFW. But don't worry, everyone else gets to join in on Friday. We're looking at mid to upper 90s to low triple digits across the western two-thirds of the state, with upper 80s to mid 90s eastern third of the state. Here's Saturday. Did I press the wrong button? I might have pressed the wrong button. There we go. There's Saturday. Not great. 102 in Vernon, 101 in Childress, 100 in Wichita Falls, 97 to 98 in DFW, upper 90s all the way down the I-35 corridor through Waco, Austin, San Antonio to Laredo, 99 Del Rio, 93 in El Paso, 97 in Amarillo, Pampa, Canadian, and 94 in Longview. All right, here's Sunday. A little cooler, but not by much. We're still mostly in the 90s across Texas with not a lot of rain to talk about, if any, expected outside of Francine this week in the state. Here is the longer range temperature outlook. I forgot to update it, to be honest, but here's what it was for a few days ago, if it makes you feel better, because as I switch over to the new one, the blues of happiness go bye-bye, and the reds of ouchies return, because guess what? Above average temperatures look likely as we head into the second and third week of September. With above average temperatures, that means highs mostly in the 90s, probably. And precipitation-wise, now this is not what you might expect. Might actually get a little more active as we get into the third week of September. It looks like the heat dome per se isn't really going to rebuild itself, but we may start seeing that jet stream come back a little further south in the United States as we start to transition away from summer, where the jet stream's up in the Canadian provinces, northern United States. It might start trying to dip back south a bit, which means we might start seeing a few upper-level storm systems head our way in about 10 days or so, which means, hey, maybe we'll get some rain. But for now, Francine is it in terms of rain chances for Texas, and even that is not likely to give rain to a majority of the state. And those who get rain aren't going to get much unless you're in the Rio Grande Valley and you're not having a great morning with the rain. That'll be it for your Texas Weather Roundup on this Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on Francine for sure, but again, a minor event for most of the state of Texas. For the rest, it's a non-event. Louisiana, not so much. We'll definitely be keeping them in our prayers, and we'll be monitoring Francine's progress on intensification throughout the day. You can watch the live Texas Weather Center coverage here on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel, if that's where you're watching this. If not, search for Texas Weather Center on YouTube. You'll find our 24/7 live stream. You can also watch that and get your local weather forecast in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. Also on the web, texasstormchasers.com. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We'll keep updates coming on the social media platforms as Francine makes its way towards the Louisiana coast. Y'all have a great Tuesday. God bless.